Hey guys, so today's video is going to be pretty laid back. I'm basically going to be explaining everything and answering questions that I get asked pretty often and basically just giving you guys a quick overview of everything. I've got my little Red Bull drink here. It's a raspberry peach today. Clearly, I have an obsession. So as you can tell from the title, I am having hip surgery. I'm having the right one done. When you're watching this, I'm having it done tomorrow, and then I'm having the left one done about 6-ish weeks later. They want to do the second surgery at least 6 weeks after the first one, just for recovery reasons, and then from there, it depends on the surgeon's schedule, so I don't know the exact date of when that one's going to be. But they won't do them at the same time because it can be really risky. I think my doctor said there's no one that will really do it do both of them at the same time. Well, there's one guy and he's like in Vail, so it wasn't really like logical anyways. But so basically, I feel like really, really awkward sitting here filming this, telling you guys about this, because it's something that's been going on for so long in my life that it's kind of just become like a non-thing for me. Like it's just kind of become a part of me. So it's not something I talk about very often. But basically I've had chronic hip pain for like the last 10 years and doctors just weren't able to figure out what was wrong. I have done x-rays and everything, and people just like, they couldn't see anything that was like, oh, this is why. So the last doctor I had seen was my freshman year of college, so about 4.5 years ago. And my doctor was like, there's nothing here. I don't know what to tell you. Like, just keep taking Advil when it hurts and whatnot. And the pain was like very, very bad. Like it was like crippling pain. Like it would make me throw up. It hurt so bad, and it would hurt worse when it was raining. It would hurt worse when it got cold. And then there was just random days where it would hurt really bad. And I was like, I feel like I'm not making this up to if I'm like in so much pain that I'm throwing up. But there was no explanation, so I kind of was like, I guess I am just like, it's all in my head. So I kind of just gave up and decided to just keep living with it. So this past year, I have been in and out of physical therapy. I've, taken a leave twice a day. I've done pretty much everything I've thought to do and that the doctors were telling me to do. I iced it for 30 minutes 3 times a day. It's both of them. So I would ice one for 30 minutes and then the other for 30 minutes. And it ended up being like 3 hours of my day was just me laying on the couch, like icing my hips. And it was getting a little out of hand. I've tried like heating pads. I've tried Icy Hot. I've tried Advil. Like nothing is really helping. So this summer, my dad was like, you know what, you really have got to like push the doctors, like get to figure out what this is while you're still on our health insurance, because, worst comes to worst, we don't want you to have to pay for anything. We want you to be on like our insurance. That way we can help you and our insurance will cover it and whatever. So I went to my GP or my general practitioner earlier this summer, and he basically was like, honestly, like I'm just as frustrated as you are because this has been going on for so long and we can't figure out what it is. So I'm going to, like, we did blood work, we did like everything. So the blood work ruled out any sort of arthritis or anything like that. So it wasn't arthritis, which I had pretty much made up in my mind. I was like, it's arthritis. Like, I know it is. What else could it be? I had pretty much made up in my mind it was arthritis. So when we did the blood work and we found out it wasn't arthritis, I was like, I literally have no idea what this could be. My doctor was like, I'm at a loss. I was leaning towards arthritis. He was like, I don't know what to do. So he sent me to an orthopedist here in my town, and we did very concentrated x-rays. And what he was noticing on the x-rays, is, this is how he basically explained it to me. So here's like the ball of my hip, and then here's the socket. So there's basically lumps on the ball before they go into the socket. So every time I move, they're grinding. So he was like, that's the pain you're experiencing, is the bones grinding on each other. So I was like, okay, so this is good news. Like, not good news, but I was happy that we were finally getting somewhere. But he was like, you know, with the x-ray, I can't really tell exactly if that's it or not, or if it's just, you know, a fuzz or whatever. So we did an MRI, and we did an MRI with contrast. So they shot, basically like, here's the thing, he shot it like right here. He shot the contrast into the joint, and I guess that like lit everything up so he could see like for sure what was going on. And it was like magic. It was so painful. I remember they did my right hip. They wanted to do one at a time just in case, because he was like, with the x-rays on both sides, I can kind of see they look the exact same. So if, you know, we do one and we come back with, you know, what it is, then I'm fairly certain it's going to be the same on both sides. So we just wanted to do one. So we did the right one. They injected me with lidocaine before we did the MRI, and my leg, I remember I didn't think that like my leg was going to be numb, and my parents were out of town. My sister was in school. So like I drove myself, and then I drove myself home. Like, they were wheeling me around the hospital in a wheelchair because my leg was numb and I couldn't really stand. And then I drove home with my right leg. So should have thought that through. Maybe should have called an Uber, but I didn't. I live fairly close to the hospital, so I just drove home really quickly and was kind of like hyper aware of everything. So I was being very safe, but it's like literally a 3-minute drive, so it wasn't too big of a deal. So I remember that day I was like in so much pain because the fluid, it's hard to explain. So it's really hard to explain, but basically it was just really full. Like, my leg was kind of swollen, but not like super swollen. But you know how when you eat so much and then you're like in insane amounts of pain and you're like, why did I do that? And you like have to unbutton your pants. That's kind of the feeling. Like, there was just clearly a presence in my leg that wasn't supposed to be there, and that was the fluid. So it was just kind of like sitting there, and it just didn't feel right, and it caused a lot of pain because it was like, clearly there was something in my body that wasn't supposed to be there, and it was like, there's no room for you here, what are you doing here? And it just, you know, when there's like an extra thing in your body and it's, you know, there's no room for it, so it's like, it hurts. But anyways, so yeah, I don't really tell lots of people this story. I haven't really told like family or friends or anything yet. They've either like found out from my parents or I've told like my few close friends, but it's been kind of kept under wraps. That's kind of why I'm making this video. I'm going to share this with my friends and family as well. But anyways, so after the MRI, I got the test results back, and they figured out that it was femoral acetabular impingement, which is basically the bones. So the bones are the impingement, and, you know, it's like, I guess, impinging my femur from moving. I don't really know. Like, I'm not a doctor, but basically, you know, there's impingement or whatever, and it can tear the cartilage and stuff. So the fact that it's been going on for so long, they're assuming, they don't really know for sure, but they're assuming that the cartilage is pretty worn down. So at this point, my orthopedist was like, well, we have steps to take after this before we get to like the end results. So first he wanted to try, it's kind of like insurance stepping stones as well. So first we did physical therapy. So I went to physical therapy twice a week. Yeah. So I went to physical therapy twice a week for 3 or 4 weeks. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks. And it was like not really helping. It would help, like stretching obviously feels really awesome. That's basically what I was experiencing from physical therapy. Like, I felt relief as I was stretching, and then it would just go right back to normal as soon as I stopped doing a stretch. So it didn't really help like a crazy amount. So I was like, this is pointless. Also, I was like, why am I even doing physical therapy? This is like a bone thing. Like, in my mind, physical therapy is to help like with muscular strength and to help regain your strength. So I was in Dallas visiting my boyfriend, and he had twisted his ankle really badly. So he was in physical therapy for that. And I felt a little more comfortable with his physical therapist, and like, instead of like questioning my physical therapy and my physical therapist and being like, why am I even here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And like, instead of questioning her job or anything and her authority without like, I don't know, it would have made me feel really weird basically being like, why am I here? You're not doing jack for me. So I asked his physical therapist, I was like, what is even the point of this? And he was like, yeah, it's probably just an insurance stepping stone. It's most likely not going to help. And yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, seriously, ooh, I'm really nervous. I don't know why. Okay. So I went back to my orthopedist after I was done with my recommended physical therapy, and I told him, I said, you know, it's not really doing much for me, whatever. And he said, okay, so the next step would be surgery. And he said there's only so many surgeons in the States that can do this surgery. And he told me there was some in Vail, obviously, sports medicine, Memphis, Little Rock, Arkansas, or Dallas, or there's like some on the West Coast. And I was like, you know, I think I'll look into Dallas because my boyfriend lives in Texas and I'm there quite often. So it would just be, and it's also a very quick flight or a very quick drive. So it would be easiest for me to get there. So I talked to my boyfriend's physical therapist, asked if he knew any orthopedic surgeons that could do this surgery. He put me in touch with one of the like top renowned surgeons that has a specialty in hips. So he is going to be doing my surgery tomorrow. I am so excited to have this done and finally be done with this. So basically, they're going to do the surgery for me tomorrow morning. It's going to be about a 2-hour surgery, and then we're going to drive home that same day. So he said it's going to be best to drive home that same day while I'm all loopy and on like the highest amount of pain meds so that I'm not feeling it. So after the surgery, I'll come home, I'll be on bed rest for about a week, and then I'll be on crutches for about 2 to 3 weeks. So I will be out of work for that amount of time, about a month. And then about 2 weeks later, hopefully, I will go back in to have the second one done, and then it'll be the same thing all over again. So the doctor said that I will be sore for quite a while afterwards. I'm going to be frustrated and whatnot because I won't be able to have full use of my legs. And he said, he was like, I'm not going to lie to you. Right after the surgery, like, you're going to be in significant amount of pain, maybe even more than you're in like on a day-to-day basis. So I'm nervous for that, but ultimately I'm very, very excited to have this done and over with because this has been something I've dealt with for a little over 10 years and quite frankly, pretty over it. So I'm super excited, really, really, really nervous. I've never been in the hospital or had any sort of surgery or anything like that. So I'm freaked out, but ultimately very excited to have this done and excited to be able to do normal human things and not be in extreme amounts of pain. So that is everything about my surgery. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm pre-filming a lot of videos to have go up for at least the first week of my surgery, hopefully a little more than that because I don't know how long I'm going to be like stuck downstairs on the couch and not being able to use the steps or anything like that. So I'm doing my best to pre-film as much as I can. I don't want to just leave you guys hanging for a month. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to get up to my filming room and film some more, hopefully after the first week. I'm not sure. So if there's some days missing some videos from me, that is why. And yeah, but I'm doing my best to have some pre-filmed for you so that they're up and I'm not too MIA. Also, I wanted to ask you guys to do me a huge favor. If you could leave any of your favorite books or TV shows on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or anything down in the comments below, because I'm going to have lots of free time, clearly. So I'm just basically going to be sitting on my ass doing nothing all day. So please leave me some of your favorite books because I love to read. I've got some that I'm hopeful to get through, but I really only have like 2 right now, and that'll last me maybe 3 days. So please leave any of your favorite Netflix shows or anything like that and your favorite books in the comments so that I can stock up and have some things to do while my ass is on the couch for 3 weeks. Alright guys, so that is it for this little video. I hope it gave you some insight into what I'm going to be doing or what's been going on, and I hope that you guys forgive me for being so MIA for a couple weeks. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for all of your support all the time. It really means so much to me, and I just really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave me any books or TV shows in the comments down below, and I will see you guys hopefully very soon. Bye!